بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين لا سيما بقية الله في الأرضين عجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف وجعلنا من أعوانه وأنصاره اللهم أخرجني من ظلمات الوهم وأكرمني بنور الفهم اللهم افتح علينا أبواب رحمتك وانشر علينا خزائن علومك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. We continue our study of Hadith number 4 about Kibr or arrogance, and the chapter with which we start tonight is about the main cause for takabbur. There are different factors that can lead to having Kibr. As you remember, we said Kibr is the internal condition and it is expressed in different ways, which is called then takabbur. So the late Imam Khomeini says that there are different causes for Kibr, but they all go back to a wrong and false supposition. And that is to see in yourself a perfection that you don't have. And then you would think because of that perfection that you think you have, but you really don't have, you are better than other people in which you don't see that perfection. And they may actually have it. So we so much have hubb nafs. He said this is mixed with hubb nafs, self-love, that we can see in ourselves things that we don't have, if they are good things. Or we can ignore negative things in us, even if we have them. And when it comes to other people, we don't see their good things, and we may see bad things in them that they don't have. So, when you put all these together, seeing some perfection in yourself as a matter of mistake, and not seeing in other people, mixed with hubb zat, self-love, you think you are special. You think you are unique. You think you are superior to other people. And this can happen among ulama, among scientists, scholars. This can happen among people who have good practices. This can happen among the people who have good social position or good genealogy. They belong to good families. So it can happen in all different types of people. For example, among ulama, Imam Khomeini mentions, for example, ulama of irfan, not true arifs, but those who know about irfan. So they may think that because they know irfan, they may think they are higher than other people because they know about mukashafat, about shuhud, about mystical experiences. So they may think they are better. They may underestimate other scholars, for example, underestimate philosophers or jurists and other scholars. This is possible. We are not saying necessary, but it can happen. Or it can happen among philosophers who think because they know philosophy, they know burhan, how to make decisive arguments, demonstration, as we call it technically. They think because of their certainty about God and angels and so on and so forth, they are better than other people. And they may treat other people without enough esteem. Or it can happen among fuqaha, jurists, who may underestimate philosophers or urafa and think they are better than them. Even it can happen among people who are scholars of empirical sciences, a doctor, an engineer, a biologist, a physicist. They may think that they are better than other people because of their knowledge. Then he says, this is not the problem of knowledge. It's not that knowledge leads to arrogance. It's the problem of these people who don't have enough capacity to be good containers of knowledge. And they think because of the little things that they know, they think they know a lot, and then also they cannot see this in other people, so they think they are better than other people. But those who have great capacity, they are actually humble. If they know everything about a particular discipline which is available for current scholarship, still they say we are students, we are talabe, we are seekers of knowledge. The more they know, the more humble they become. Actually, one of the signs of true pursuit of knowledge is that with the increase of your knowledge, your humility must increase. Imam Khomeini refers to the advice that Luqman al-Hakim gave to his son. Among his different words of wisdom was وَلَا تُصَعِّرْ خَدَّكَ لِلنَّاسِ وَلَا تَمْشِ فِي الْأَرْضِ مَرَحًا إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُحِبُّ كُلَّ مُخْتَالٍ فَخُورٍ. Surah Luqman, verse 18. He asked his son not to treat people with arrogance, not to think he is better than them. And when he walks, he should walk without pride, without arrogance. Because truly, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not like the people who are arrogant and are pleased with themselves. And then we move to the people that they have amal, not ilm. And because of their amal, their good practice, they become arrogant. So sometimes, for example, there are people who are not scholars, but they pray a lot. They are able to say their salat on time, in jama'ah, nawafil, salatul layl. So they think they are better than other people because of this salat. They compare themselves to the ordinary people, they compare themselves to ulama, and they say we are better. But Imam Khomeini says a true prayer, a true salat should prohibit ugly actions and behavior. إن الصلاة تنهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر. Or as we have in Hadith, الصلاة معراج المؤمن. How can someone truly say his prayer or her prayer? How can someone truly ascend to heaven through his prayer or her prayer? Or how can someone's prayer stop al-fahsha wal-munkar? And then that person would have arrogance, which is one of the major problems, one of the most destructive munkar. This is not really a prayer. And he says, I read for you this important sentence, which can be actually applied to the case of ujb, but also to other cases. Whenever we do something bad, we commit sins, it shows that our salat is faulty. It says, نمازی که از فحشا نهی نکند و نگهدار قلب نباشد بلکه به واسطه کثرت آن قلب ضایع گردد نماز نیست. A prayer that would not prohibit bad actions and cannot protect your heart. Indeed, because you have been praying a lot without proper orientation, you have now started suffering Kibr. This is not namaz. نمازی که وقتی خیلی مواظبت کردی از او تو را به شیطان و خاصه او که کبر است نزدیک کند نماز نیست. The prayer that when you are very careful about it and very punctual about it and you do it a lot, but unfortunately has led to be closer to shaitan and to have ujb and kibr. This is not namaz. نه آن که نماز این اقتضا را دارد. This is not the problem with namaz as in the case of ulama. That was not the problem of irfan or philosophy or fiqh or empirical sciences. That was the problem of the people who had ilm without proper orientation, without proper approach, without capacity. The same here. Problem is not with salah. The problem is the person who is musalli. Allah says in the Quran, فَوَيْلٌ لِلْمُصَلِّينَ الَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنْ صَلَاتِهِمْ سَاهُونَ. Not وَيْلٌ لِلصَّلَاةِ, وَيْلٌ لِلْمُصَلِّينَ. Of course, salat of such musalli is not a proper salat. Sometimes they see they are better than other people, as I said, because of some positions. For example, I belong to this family. I belong to a family of ulama. I belong to a family of sadat. I belong to a family of, I don't know, rich people. I belong to royal family, for example. This doesn't make you necessarily better than other people. So we have to be very careful. Then he says, Kibr is hidden, is an inner condition. And sometimes it's not expressed. Either because the person is trying to hide it, or is careful, or sometimes because it needs opportunity to emerge. What can trigger these inner qualities and bring them to the surface is when someone is challenged in the time of difficulties, when they are angry, when they are upset. That's the time that this kibr can emerge. 2 years ago for Arba'in, I gave a lecture about the way that Iman and Taqwa can be tested when you are challenged. So when such people are angry, then that's possible to bring out their kibr. You see then how they treat people. But if it is normal, they may hide it or they may be careful about it. Then the next chapter is about some of the harms and negative outcomes of kibr. Imam Khomeini says, be aware that this ugly quality is bad in itself and also brings bad things. So it has mafsada, it has harm and corruption in itself, but brings also harmful and corrupt consequences. It would stop us from outward and inward perfection. Kamalat zahiri wa batini. Outward and inward perfections will be stopped. Huzuz dunyavi wa ukhravi. Enjoyment and benefits in dunya and in the hereafter will be stopped. Also, it would produce dislike, hatred, and enmity. It would lead to losing your position in the eyes of people. People don't like arrogant people. And it would make people determined to challenge you and fight with you and do their best to humiliate you. Those who are arrogant, other people try to humiliate them. There is a hadith in Al-Kafi from Imam Sadiq alayhi salam. And Imam Khomeini quotes that hadith here. Ali ibn Ibrahim and Abi and Ibn Abi Umair and Ba'd Ashabihi and Abi Abdullah alayhi salam. This hadith is about the way this world reacts to those who are arrogant or humble. There is no servant of God who, unless he or she has a kind of handhold in his head, and there is an angel who holds that. If he is arrogant, the angel says, come down. May God bring you down. So this person would be, in his or her own opinion, very high, but in the eyes of people would be very low. But if this servant of God is humble and experiences or practices humility, then Allah would raise that handhold and he would be told, go higher, become greater, may God elevate you or raise you. We have also in our hadith, man tawadha'a lillah rafa'uhu Allah. So, if you want to rise in the eyes of people, first of all, you should see why you want to rise in the eyes of people. This by itself needs to be checked. Do you want to rise in the eyes of people because you want to be respected, you want to be able to serve better, or you want to be more important and special? But in any case, first, of course, check, but regardless, if for any reason you want to be higher, the path to it, it's not arrogance. The path to it is humility, tawadu. So whether for good reason or bad reason, you want to be respected and have a good position in the eyes of people, you have to be humble. Then Imam Khomeini quotes this hadith again from Kafi, and this is in Kitabul Iman wal Kibr, Babul Kibr, the chapter about Kibr. Dawood ibn Farqat an Akhi, from his brother, quotes that he says, سمعت أبا عبد الله عليه السلام يقول, I heard Imam Sadiq عليه السلام saying, إن المتكبرين يجعلون في صور الذر يتوتعهم الناس حتى يفرغ الله من الحساب. Those who are arrogant, they would be made like ants, like particles, very small. And on the day of judgment, all people would put their feet on them till Hisab is finished. Imagine if millions of people are on a desert or a plain and they are very busy and challenged. What happens to the ants on the ground? They may not even see them. They would put their feet on them. Like the story of Sulaiman alayhi salam, when that namla, that ant, said to other ants, ادخلوا مساكنكم لا يحتمنكم سليمان وجنوده وهم لا يشعرون. So those who are arrogant on the day of judgment, they will be resurrected in the most humiliated way, very small, and people would put their feet on them till Hisab is finished. In the advice Imam Sadiq alayhi salam gave to his companions, also we read, إِيَّاكُمْ وَالْعَظَمَةُ وَالْكِبْرَ. Be very careful with respect to seeing greatness in yourself and being arrogant. You must avoid this. إِيَّاكُمْ in Arabic is for tahdhir, means you must avoid this. فَإِنَّ الْكِبْرَ رِدَاءُ اللَّهِ عَزَّ وَجَلَّ. Greatness is only suitable for Allah. It's like a cloak, a dress which only suits Allah. It's for Allah. You cannot put it on yourself. فَمَنْ نَازَعَ اللَّهَ رِدَاءَهُ قَسَمَهُ اللَّهُ وَأَذَلَّهُ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ. Whoever wants to take away Allah's dress and say to other people, I am greater than you. So he wants to assume greatness of Allah and claim it for himself or herself. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would break him and humiliate him on the day of judgment. Because he has actually done this himself. You must know that our punishments are mostly the embodiment or tajassum of our own a'mal and our own qualities, deeds and qualities. Of course, it can be manifested in the way which is suitable to that world, but we are going to see our own actions and qualities. In Hadith, it is said, Al-Kibru mataya nar in Wasa'il Shia. Arrogance is mataya. Mataya is the plural for matiya, is like mule, mount, something that you ride, like a donkey, like a camel, like a horse. So Kibr is mataya an-nar, means are the mules or mounts that take you to May Allah save us. Or Rasul Akram said, لن يدخل الجنة من في قلبه مثقال حبة من خردل من كبر. The one who has very little, like a particle of kibr, arrogance in his heart, would not enter heaven. Actually, Quran says, تلك الدار الآخرة نجعلها للذين لا يريدون علوا في الأرض ولا فساد. Imam Baqir and Imam Sadiq alayhi salam also have similar hadith. In another hadith in Kafi, Imam Baqir alayhi salam says, Al-Izzu rida'ullah wal-kibru izaruhu faman tanawala shay'an minh akabbahu Allah fi jahannam. True, independent dignity belongs to Allah. It's like the outfit, the cloak that you put on your shoulder. And Kibr is also the outfit for Allah that you put on your lower part of your body. Like Hujjaj, they have two pieces. One is to cover their stomach and downwards, and one is the piece that they put on their shoulders. So Iz and Kibr belong to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like two outfits. And if someone wants to take that, he would be put with face into fire. And then there is a hadith about the way even Jahannam is burnt by Kibr. He says in a hadith which is like Sahih, so even if technically it's not Sahih, but it's like Sahih in its authenticity and reliability. Ibn Bukayr narrates from Imam Sadiq alayhi salam that in hell there is a valley for mutakabbirin. It is called Saqar. And this Saqar is so hot inside that complained to Allah and wanted to release part of the heat inside it. And Allah gave it permission to breathe. Then the heat which came out of it burnt Jahannam. What does it mean? It's very difficult for us to understand. But as I said to you sometime in the past, when you want to explain, for example, to a child who has no experience of adult life, it's very difficult. For example, if you want to say to a child, what does it mean for a father or mother to see success of their children? To a child who is 2 years old, you can say it's like having a big chocolate. It's like having a toy that you like. This is the way a child can understand. So whether it's a reward or punishment of akhirah, we cannot understand. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has used a language that at least can indicate some aspects of it. Imam Khomeini here has a detailed discussion about punishment. And he says the fire and burning and punishment and pain of akhirah cannot be understood in dunya. And he mentions 5 aspects in punishment which are different comparing dunya to akhirah. And he says one aspect of it is that different things can accept heat to a different degree. For example, wood and coal. If they receive heat, they then start burning. But gold and iron, they have to receive more heat to burn. So you cannot compare the burning of wood and burning of gold or burning of iron. Another thing is the level of understanding and perception. The more you understand, the better you understand, then the experience of pain and pleasure would be more. Another thing is the amount of connection between the place which is burning and your sensational organs. For example, some parts of our skin and the body are more sensitive. And when it comes closer to the head, here, for example, around nose, it's very sensitive. So if something is closer to your nerve, to your brain, to your soul, it would be more painful. Another thing is that harara, heat, is different. Can be 100, can be 1000 centigrade, can be 10,000 centigrade. Then also, how much is close, the fire or heat is how close to the person who is suffering. Is it far? Is it near? Is it touching? Is it inside? So there are 5 elements that can affect our experience of pain. So we can never understand the pain and suffering of Jahannam in dunya, but just we understand it's something that we cannot tolerate, because we cannot even tolerate the fire of dunya compared to akhirah. And fire of dunya, Imam Khomeini says, compared to the akhirah is cool. Okay, what we understood is that if someone suffers from Kibr, he or she would have problems in dunya with people and with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and in akhirah also he would have problems. It destroys our dunya and akhirah. And if we are able to be humble, really, truly, honestly humble, we would have better life in dunya, and we would be guaranteed that we would have better life in akhirah. Allah will love us, people will love us, opportunities will be created and open for our success, and everything in this world would be at the service of those who are humble. May Allah, inshallah, include us among the people who are humble and save us from arrogance. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin.